If you're looking for the ultimate street exhaust for your 2014 to 2018 5.3 liters powered Sierra 1500, then Borla has exactly what you're looking for right here. The ATAK system brings a great aggressive sound, stealthy good looks, and some cool technology together in a slick, high-quality package. And this all makes it an excellent choice for those who really want to wake up their truck. However, make no mistake, this one is loud. We're going to give it the full 5 out of 5 on our loudness meter, so it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Borla is well known in the enthusiast community for making some of the best exhausts you can buy, especially when it comes to their sound. And their ATAK series is the loudest of the bunch. You can certainly tell the difference with this system. While the 5.3s have always sounded good in my humble opinion, the stock exhaust doesn't really let much of that sound come through. However, as you heard from the clips at the start of the video, this ATAK system fixes all of it. It is not an exaggeration to say that this exhaust transforms your truck, giving it that deep, rumbly idle and LS wail when you open the throttle all the way. It's more akin to what you'd expect out of a modified Corvette than a half-ton pickup truck, so it's sure to be a head turner. And you're gonna laugh like a fool every time you put your foot down because this system is sure to bring out the kid in you. This is a full catback system, so it's gonna oust your stock muffler, leaving you with what seems like a rather large suitcase-style muffler. However, looks can be deceiving. This thing sports pretty much a straight-through design, and unfortunately, though you can't see it with this setup, there is absolutely no packing in there. So there is nothing to absorb the sound. This is basically just one gigantic resonator sort of setup. But there's also a bit of trickery inside. This muffler is home to some cool tech that's gonna make sure you get that good sound without any pesky drone. And that's where this exhaust gets its name, ATAK. ATAK stands for Acoustically Tuned Applied Kinetics, which is Borla's way of saying that they specifically tune each exhaust for each vehicle application. They also employ something they call polyphonic harmonizing technology. So this is essentially the same type of science that goes into tuning pipe organs or other wind instruments. Different lengths and types of pipe to control different frequencies, and that eliminates obtrusive or dissonant sounds. So these strict bits utilize different sizes, diameters of piping, perforated tube-shaped cores, and different patterns within to make sure that all the frequencies that come out of your exhaust harmonize. So you get that really nice sound and the volume you want with zero drone. So many exhausts sound really good, but they can have some pretty terrible drone, which really impacts the driving experience of the truck. And I'm sure some of you have had some pretty drony exhausts in the past. I know I have, and they really grate on your nerves after a while, especially if this is something that you're driving every day. They might sound great on the outside, but if there's a way to avoid that drone, it's worth going out of your way to do that. It just makes the driving experience so much more pleasant. You get to enjoy that exhaust note without having to crank up your radio or yell to have a conversation with your passengers. Then of course, we have to talk about the tips. Now these are 4-inch dual black chrome tips, and I will admit, I think these look really slick. And this is gonna exit in the same spot as your stock exhaust, right behind the passenger side rear wheel. It's a bit more subtle approach when it comes to the look as compared to some others, but that dark chrome really finishes things off nicely. However, any subtlety is thrown immediately out the window once you fire the truck up. So while the casual observer may not notice the tips right away, they will certainly be able to tell you've got something going on once you start the truck. As far as construction goes, and as we've come to expect from Borla, this is a really high quality system. They make all their exhausts out of T304 stainless steel from the extension pipe all the way back to the tips. So you're gonna get excellent corrosion and rust resistance here. And as you can see, it's just a nice looking exhaust. The piping is all 2.75-inch mandrel bent tubing up to the muffler, and then 2.25-inch tubing afterwards. So that means there are also no wrinkles or creases in the metal, which means that all the exhaust gases will flow nice and smoothly through, and it's gonna be less restrictive than your stock system, so it will reduce back pressure, and you may get a little bit of a bump in power and response out of it. Pricing will come in at about $1,500 for this system, which, no getting around it, that is a lot of money. However, this is a really high quality exhaust with that excellent drone canceling technology. So if you want the sound, the volume, and the build quality combined with a pleasant driving experience, scrape together your pennies, folks, because this one is definitely worth it. Installation will come in at a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect it to take you about 2 hours to complete. This is designed to be a totally bolt-in kit that utilizes all your factory exhaust hangers, so there's no modification needed to your truck. Overall, it's a pretty straightforward installation. We're also going to walk you through that process step by step right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, a 13 and 15 millimeter socket, and an exhaust hanger tool. All right, today we're going to be installing an exhaust on our Sierra, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to start off at our front flange here, so I'm going to grab my impact 13 millimeter socket and loosen this up. And we're gonna leave this on our exhaust because we're gonna be reusing that clamp. Now we just have a couple hangers to take off. So we're gonna come back to our first isolator. We're gonna use our exhaust hanger tool and pop that off. And just keep moving further back. All right, we're gonna come back to our tailpipe and remove the one back here. We have 2 more on a muffler. We're gonna use that to hold up the exhaust. Pop that off. Now let's go towards our muffler. So we have our last 2 hangers right here. Just make sure you do have this supported, because once you release them, it will fall down. I have a muffler drip on me. All right, get this one off. And pop our last one off. All right, now we have this off. We can just pull this down in one whole unit. You won't pull back and I'll just drop it down. All right, now this definitely be easier with a buddy, but we're just gonna lift this up, go backwards to get over our cross member, then come back forward to get over our axle. All right, so we're gonna start with our front flange pipe here. We'll worry about our clamp later. We'll just get that set in place and onto our isolator here. And now we can go ahead and get our muffler section on. All right, so we're gonna get our muffler section on. Rest on the axle right now. I have our largest of our clamps over. We're gonna get that over our front pipe. Just let that hang out for now. And go ahead and get this on our 2 isolators. All right, last we just have our over the axle pipe. You'll see I have our 2 smaller clamps over our muffler pipes. And slide this over. It was a little difficult getting both of these in at the same time, but slide them on, and then slide our isolator on. And then we can go back and tighten all of our clamps. So we have our front factory clamp here. We'll get that slid over in place. Grab our impact 13mm socket and tighten that down. We have our clamp at the front of our muffler. We're going to switch to our impact and 15mm socket. Tighten this down. All right, now just our last 2 clamps here. Same thing, impact and 15mm socket. And that wraps up our install of our Borla ATAK dual exhaust system with black chrome tips for a same side exit for a 2014-18 5.3 liter Sierra 1500. And remember, for everything Sierra, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.